At least there's one actor who is not going to put up with Hollywood's BS any longer. Guys, Sylvester Stallone is furious with the new development of the direction that Hollywood is continuing to take his Rocky franchise, a franchise that I love and I'm sure a lot of you love as well, but it's very obvious that Hollywood is continuing to use it for their own purposes, their own agendas and everything else, and Sylvester Stallone is not having it. There is a lot of backstory with this, and I've covered this in a couple videos in the past as well, where he completely went off. He completely trashed the producers that hold his Rocky franchise hostage right now under their power, and this a lot of it has to do with the Winkler family, and he did not hold back when it came to his thoughts on the Winkler family, calling them things like parasites and the worst of Hollywood and everything else in posts that he had on Instagram. And I made a couple videos on that you can go check out if you want to, where I talked about that whole situation with Sylvester Stallone, where he did not hold back on the Winkler family. But today, Sylvester Stallone laments direction of Creed 3 following his exclusion from Rocky franchise. I like my heroes getting beat up. I just don't want them going into that dark space. And I think that the biggest mistake that Hollywood is making right now is this right here. Following his exclusion from the Rocky franchise, Hollywood does not want him to be involved with this franchise any longer. Sylvester Stallone is, of course, someone who has his own thoughts when it comes to how he wants to tell stories, and it does not fit very well with the Hollywood agenda. So Sylvester Stallone is not a fan of the heavier direction the Rocky universe is set to take with Creed 3, as in the eyes of the man who arguably built the franchise, people have enough darkness in their lives and thus don't need to see it in their heroes. Very well said. So, but perhaps the most confusing of all is the fact that given the ongoing ownership feud between the franchise's star and its current rights holders, namely producer Irwin Winkler, the film is being produced without any input from Stallone. That is a major, major mistake. So this is what Sylvester Stallone has to say. It was a deal that was done unbeknownst to me by people that I thought were close to me, and they basically gave away whatever rights I would have had. Stallone continued. At the time, I was so excited to be working, and I didn't understand this is a business, when he was talking about how he first basically kind of gave the rights away to the Rocky franchise. Who knew Rocky would go on for another 45 years? Stallone asked rhetorically. I've never used one line of dialogue from anyone else, and the irony is that I don't own any of it. The people who have done literally nothing control it. Speaking specifically to the July Instagram post he shared, which brought his feud with Winkler to public attention, Stallone recalled that he was prompted to post it because they wanted another Rocky. And I was willing to do it, but I said, after 45 years, can we change the playing field a little bit? Level it out? Can I get a piece of what I created all those years ago? Just from now on, the producers still get a piece. I don't want anyone to control it. If I write it and the studio agrees to it, it's done. And you can't make a Rocky sequel just because you want your children to have a job, or if you don't get more money than that, you can block it. The other producer, Bob Chartoff, was always very nice. I'm not an executive producer on the Creed films. Ryan Coogler is. Michael B. Jordan is. Winkler's children are, not mine. I'm the only one left out. Ultimately, asked by Hibbard if it would be weird to see a new Creed film completely absent of his own influence, Stallone asserted, that's a regretful situation because I know what it could have been. It was taken in a direction that is quite different than I would have taken it. It's a different philosophy. Irwin Winkler's and Michael B. Jordan's. I wish them well, but I'm much more of a sentimentalist. I like my heroes getting beat up, but I just don't want them going into that dark place. I just feel people have enough darkness. Ultimately, Sylvester Stallone understands the vision of the Rocky franchise. He understands this character. He understands the tone, the story. Hollywood does not have any sense of actually trying to honor these stories that we all love, that we grew up watching with all these great characters. They want to continue to do away with it so they can kind of raise up their own stories and make these stories into their own image. We've seen this time and time again with Star Wars, with Lord of the Rings, and it's only going to continue to happen with all of these other franchises as well. With that being said, let me know what you think about what Sylvester Stallone says here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.